This is a Nitrotech review of the Samsung Galaxy S2, the superphone that's now available on Telecom. This is the 910T version of the phone, and it is available now on Telecom. $1099 if you want to buy it outright, or you can get it from $0 on a plan. Let's take a look at the hardware. First of all, it's got a front-facing camera, and it's also got a couple of sensors in there as well, ambient light and proximity sensor too. It's got an earpiece up the top, physical button for home, and capacitive for both back and menu. On this side of the device is a power button. On the bottom of the device is a micro USB connector and also a microphone. You'll also find that there's an 8 megapixel camera, very good one too, on the back with an LED flash. And then down the bottom you'll find the speaker. On this side of the device is just the volume rocker, and then you'll find that there's a 3.5mm jack and what looks like a noise cancelling microphone at the top of the device as well. So what's packed inside it? A 1.2 GHz dual core processor. It's got good graphics, it's got a good chipset, 16 gigabytes of internal memory, and you can expand that with up to a 32 gigabyte micro SD card as well, so plenty of expandability in this particular device. A lot of talk about the display, and we'll talk a wee bit more about that in detail later, but a 4.3 inch 480 by 800 Super AMOLED Plus display, and there's been a lot of talk about the sharpness of this particular display. As I say, talk more about that soon. I want to show you the size though in relation to the iPhone. This is the 3GS iPhone at 3.5 inches. This is a 4.3 inch display on the Samsung Galaxy S2, and you can just see the size difference. It makes a huge difference when you're trying to type in portrait mode, and we're certainly happy to have the extra size. Some won't be, but certainly we like the additional size. This has got TouchWiz on top of Gingerbread. Some of the things you can do with TouchWiz, they've built some interesting functionality in. You can scroll between the home screens by doing that. You've also got pinch for the home screens, so you can take a look at whichever home screen you like. When you pull down the notification bar, you'll see that you can turn on things like Wi-Fi, etc. So that's quite a nice implementation. Ambient light sensors aren't a huge fan of ambient light sensors, but one of the things that you can do is turn off your automatic brightness and then control it yourself. Now usually you've had to go into settings or use a widget to do that. With the Samsung device now you can just hit up the top of the notification bar and use that to control your brightness. So like that implementation. Well done Samsung, good work. Alright, so another thing that we really like too is Kai's Ear. Kai's itself on the computer, not a particularly good piece of software, but on the device is great. Some people use a Samba client or maybe even an FTP client for transferring things to the phone wirelessly. Don't have to do that anymore. Use Kai's Ear. You can hook into it through your web browser. You can download, upload photos, movies, anything you really want to this device. You can also see your call list and all sorts of other things, contacts and the like. So you can really control the content on the phone wirelessly, and we're really impressed with that. It also has functionality through SamsungDive.com, which is a website which allows you to track this device. You can also get it to send you SMS messages if somebody changes the SIM card in it as well. You can remotely wipe and do all that sort of thing. So quite impressed with that kind of functionality. I wanted to show you the web browser because we're really impressed with the web browser on this device. This is running on Telecom's HSDA Plus network. Scrolling, this is a mobile website, so we can't pinch to zoom on the mobile website, but you can see that that is just silky smooth. We can go to the Sydney Morning Herald website as well and just show you that the mobile version of the website there just doesn't have any problems at all. Is absolutely silky smooth 100% of the time. I wanted to just quickly go through with you the TVNZ on-demand facility, because for people in New Zealand you haven't been able to, on the iPhone for example, watch videos on demand because they use Flash content, and we know Apple doesn't like Flash, so you've been just out of luck. And I hope that you can see there that pinch to zoom is absolutely smooth as silk. We'll hit the button here to bring up a Flash video and just quickly show you a little bit about how this works in reality. So hit the button. This is on-demand Flash. I've just turned it to on-demand. You can turn it on so it's on there all the time, but that'll download all your ads as well. and it'll just take a wee bit to buffer because we are on the mobile network, let's remember. And just hit one button there, and you'll see that there's the content playing, and if we had time we could expand that out to full screen and be viewing this on a lovely sort of 480 by 800 4.3 inch screen. So really impressed with how we're able to do that. Of course, it's sort of a functionality we haven't been able to get on the iPhone, and the Android devices have had it, but this has got such a big screen that things just look great in terms of the web browser. So the web browsing experience on this phone is absolutely fantastic, and if you're looking for a good web browser, this certainly has one, and it has the speed and ability to be able to use it as well. Wanted to just quickly take you through the quadrant benchmarking tests. We've seen a lot of this with this phone, but we'll run it for you anyway. This is where it tests things like, as you see, the CPU, the memory, the I/O capabilities, the 2D graphics, and then it'll go into the 3D graphics and do a little bit of a display for us as well. But one of the things that we've noticed in using this device, had it for about a week, and its performance is just flawless. It's effortless, it goes very, very fast, and it just doesn't have any problems with any sort of functions at all. It encodes video up to 1080p as well, so you know, there are not many devices that can handle that. It's also got some video editing facilities on this particular device that come with the phone, and there's all sorts of other sort of functionalities like a games hub where you can play some games, and also there's the book reading facilities on this device, which are really good as well. So there you compare it, a Nexus 1 sitting down there at sort of 1300, and this device has just scored a 3042, and we've seen it over 3.5 before as well. So really you've got no problems performance wise with this device. The camera's also a really good camera in here as well, and it gives you the ability to be able to move between video, between still pictures, and also change a lot of the settings as well. It's got autofocus, it's got a nice sensor in there, and I've found that the photos that this takes are particularly sharp. The audio out of the videos doesn't seem to be particularly good, and I'm hugely impressed with the audio, but in terms of the video itself, I've been encoding at 720p, and I've found that it goes very, very well. I'm quite happy with the performance of the camera. One of the issues though that we've found with the Super AMOLED Plus display is one thing that I just want to show you right now, and you probably have to take a little bit of notice here, and it won't come up too well I guess on the video itself, but as I scroll over you'll see if there's more white on the screen, even though I've turned the automatic brightness off, it actually turns the whites to grey. It's turning down the brightness of the phone as there's more whites on the screen. Now I imagine that's because a full screen of white will suck down the battery, but the problem is that if you have a lot of white on the screen, you can't get a really crisp white. You get kind of an offish grey, and that really becomes a problem when you're in direct sunlight. Wouldn't say this is a fantastic device for direct sunlight, but hey, we haven't seen a device that performs particularly well in direct sunlight anyway. You can also go to things like the dialer. It's a pretty stock standard sort of dialer really, and works well. The market itself is the stock standard Android market, and you can download the applications. You shouldn't have any problems getting onto any of the applications with the size and speed of this device. So you've really got the world in your hands. The music player we weren't 100% happy with, and the reason being that I've encoded all of my files as AAC plus format, and it wouldn't pull through the ID3 tags on those devices, so still looking into why that happens to be. I will just run through one final test for you, and that's just around the speed test of the HSDA Plus network here in Rotorua, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes you get good ones, sometimes you don't, but it does have HSDA Plus capabilities, and we have seen this device performing up to kind of 13 megabits per second. We've also seen it be around about that kind of 4 to 5 as well. So it looks like this is going to peak out at just under 5 megabits a second, 4638. So you know, not a hugely great test. It is telling us it's on HSDA Plus. So in reality, you can get some really good speeds, but obviously network conditions really dictate what you're going to get at any particular time. So all in all, what do we think of the device? Well, I'm really impressed with it. I'm not hugely impressed with the screen. I know a lot of people talk and rave about the Super AMOLED Plus screen, but the reality is that when you've got the brightness turned up, the reds and the greens particularly seem to blow out to become almost neon in colour, and that makes some of the photos that you're viewing a little bit off. And also the fact that we can't get a pure white when we've got a lot of white on the screen doesn't make us hugely impressed as well. Everything else on the device though is top notch. Really impressed with how thin the device is, really impressed with how light the device is, and all of its capabilities inside here are absolutely amazing. So as long as you can get past the whole screen scenario, and remember this is only me talking about the screen, a lot of people do rave about the Super AMOLED Plus screens, so I would suggest that you go in and try it. It's available of course on Telecom, and you can get it from $0 or if you want to pay for it outright, $1099 is what it's going for at the moment. It is the Samsung Galaxy S II. Get in store and have a look at it today.